Well, initially I had no idea what I was doing or how to play the guitar. And I don't know why, but I thought that you were only allowed to do upstrokes. So for 2 years I was just, only up. And finally I started taking lessons from a teacher who showed me that I could also do downstrokes, or both, down and up simultaneously, or not simultaneously, but alternating. But I didn't really, initially I had no concept of how to pick fast. I just wanted to play, your basic kind of rhythm guitar. And I think the first thing that approached the picking technique that I learned had to do with muting on the bridge. I really liked the sound of Van Halen. That was out early on, so I was learning things. So for something like that, I wasn't even thinking about upstrokes or downstrokes. I was just thinking about tone and how to get a big, huge staccato. I didn't really even want to play fast yet. I just wanted it to go chug, 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 and that I got through muting. For picking faster things, I had no confidence at all that I could do it for the longest time. I would see people, my heroes picking fast, and I thought, well, that's why they're the heroes, and I'll never be able to do it because whenever I would try, it would sound horrible. So really, I concentrated on left-hand things where I wasn't picking very much, maybe one note per string. But my left hand became very strong and adept because of that. So when I finally started to learn some picking patterns, the left hand was already set. And the first lick that really got me over the bridge was this one, with 3 notes on a string and 1 note on the next string. In this case, it's B, C, D, and an E with an upstroke. So it's down, up, then down, up to get back to it. So all alternate picking. If you've seen my instructional videos, this is all over the place. So that was really the thing that got me into fast picking. But that was, 8 years after I started playing. It didn't happen quickly, and I don't think it should have happened quickly. I think the left hand really has to come first. The left hand steers, the right hand is the gas, and if you can't steer, you shouldn't press the gas. Well, if you alternate pick a 3-note per string scale, you have no choice but to do both outside and inside. They both occur. You just can't help it. When you start out changing a string, the first time you change, it's outside. You go between a down and up. But the second time, it's going to be inside. So both of them occur. I think for me what's important is I really like alternate picking in that each motion is separate. I don't like to do 2 downs in a row in one motion. It's a very efficient technique, and some people do it very well. But it doesn't have the same rhythmic and dynamic control that you can get from alternate picking. So for scales, I really prefer alternate with all separate motions. And it's plenty fast for my purposes. With other licks that have more hammer-ons and pull-offs, where I really have a choice. I've got time, because of the hammer-ons and pull-offs, I've got some time to decide what kind of picking I'm going to do. For those, absolutely, I try to do outside picking. I can use more force because of it. It's the same principle with the snare drum. The further away you get, the harder you can hit it. And to me, having the ability to hit it hard gives you more tone options. It also really makes it a lot cleaner, especially if you're doing string skipping licks. Something like this. Where I'm only using notes on the high E string, the G string, and the low A string. There's strings in the middle that I'm not playing, and I don't want to hit them by accident. So if I'm going outside of those strings, there's way less chance that I'm going to accidentally hit this one, the B string, that I don't want to play. If I'm doing inside, then it's almost impossible not to hit it. So for those licks, I can't see how you do them unless you do them outside picking. And I want to be able to do those licks because I like them.
You just do that a little slower?
Yeah. So this is 5 notes. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It's a B, on the 7th fret, 3 notes on the G string. There are G, E, and D. Just picking the first one, doing 2 pull-offs after that. And then a G note on the 10th fret of the A string with a downstroke. So it's up, down, 2 pull-offs, and a downstroke. Up, down, down, up, down, down, up, down, down. Then I'm going back up, doing an upstroke, 2 hammer-ons, and back to the up that you started with. So it becomes up, down, down, up, up. So it's actually, after you cycle the lick, it's 2 ups and 2 downs. And I don't recommend that you start with this lick. You know, if you want to do that pattern, I would do a simpler one with that same format. For instance, this one, that would be A, straight scale down, G, F, E, and a D on the G string. Same exact technique, up, down, down, and an upstroke on the way back up, up. That way you can really work on the picking part and concentrate on it. You don't have to worry about this giant stretch. Once you master this one, it's going to be very easy, believe it or not, to do this. Or the diminished version. So we have the E minor 7th version. Here's a diminished version, starting on the same B note. And this is a nice one, fingering-wise. It's all 3 frets apart. And then I'm going to do this crazy major 7th one, if I can remember it, which is, it would be G major 7th. It actually works as a harmony to the E minor 7th. Or, that's a left-hand challenge, but a good one. When I first started taking guitar lessons, my teacher just gave me the idea to have 1 finger per fret. And I sort of took it as a rule. So the whole step ended up always occurring with my 3rd finger. And I never thought of another way to do it. I never saw anybody else do it any other way, so that's all I knew. And I think just from using it, even though the 3rd finger and pinky tend to be weaker fingers, through practice and use, they got, you know, strong enough to do what I wanted. Sometimes even for whole steps, I'll use my 3rd finger and 4th. I think there are advantages to both ways. I've seen players, you know, like Yngwie Malmsteen uses his 2nd more often, and he does amazing things with it. But I think there's also some things I can do, especially with different scale shapes, like to play a Mixolydian scale. I do this one lick a lot where I just go up and down the scale notes. And that really lends itself to using these 2 fingers. Again, I'll play those notes slowly, starting with the low A, or the middle A, I should say. It would be... sounds good over an A7 chord.